Okay, hello everyone and welcome to today's live stream. We just started the London session and I don't know if I should give you guys a bit, maybe a few minutes for people to join the chat, the live stream. On watch for today's London session is the JPY pairs or the yen pairs. Just going to give it a few minutes, then I'm going to break down the price action on the yen pairs that I'm looking at for today. What's up, Noveni? I hope the sound is fine. Yeah, Noveni, thanks for joining the live stream. Where are you joining us from today? Okay. Now that everything is fine, I think I can start the breakdown for the yen pairs. Okay, so for today, I'm actually looking for longs on yen pairs. Can see some, from what I'm seeing on the yen pairs, such as Euro JPY, Audi JPY, New Zealand JPY and Pound JPY. From what I'm seeing in the price action, I can see some signs of weakness in the yen. So with Euro JPY, I'm looking for longs, and I'm going to just give you a breakdown of why I have a long bias for the London session for today. Now, I normally say that I like to get in on long entries when prices is low. So I like to target prices that have been trending lower for quite a while. So for example, whenever we get a market that has been pushing lower, we know we get lower highs, lower lows, continue pushing lower. But at some point we get to see signs of exhaustion in the form of some sort of a descending channel where every time we break the low, we immediately reverse. So once we break this low, we immediately get a bias in the market and we get a reversal. We break the low again, we get bias in the market, we get a reversal, we break low again, and we get bias in the market. And eventually, the buyers now take control of the market and we start to push upwards. Now, whenever we get in this situation where market is every time we break the low, we get retrace. We get into some form of a zigzag pattern, a descending manner. So this is what we usually get, something like a descending channel. Now, whenever I get this sort of a descending channel after a price has been trending low for quite a while, it's an indication that the sellers are getting exhausted and we're getting bias in the market at these lower prices. And whenever I get that now impulsive push to the upside, and this push has to be impulsive, that's when I start looking for reversal entries. That's when I start looking for continuation entries to take longs. So for example, in this instance, we can see we had this market that has throughout the Asian session, we got some sort of a consolidation here first of all, where price was just moving sideways. Then we broke out of this consolidation with a lot of selling pressure, and at some point we started getting wicks, which is not a good sign. So though price pushed lower, you can see this is a trending market, and this was during the Asian session until 325. After 325, we now got into this situation where we are now starting to break the low and retracing, because this was the low I was looking at, the pivot low. Once we broke this low with this candle, you can see immediately what happened. We got a reversal. We did not get continued selling pressure like these two previous legs. You can see here we get a continued push to the downside, and also here we get a continued push to the downside. But in this instance, once we break this low, we do not get continuation, we get a reversal. We break again, we get a reversal. Now this is a descending channel, and sometimes it might not be that clear to the naked eye, but once you've been trading price action for quite a while, you can be able to identify these patterns. But I always say that in case you can't see the structure, the market structure clearly, you can use the line chart, and you'll be able to see the descending channel that I was talking about. So with a descending channel, basically you can draw a trend line that touches the bottom. So let me use and a trend line that touches the top. So you can see this trend line here at the bottom, and if you push it across, you can see we touch different points here on this line chart. But generally what I look for, I do not trade the patterns themselves, I look at the nature. So you can see here, this is a zigzag sort of descending zigzag pattern or nature that I was looking for. I don't trade the patterns themselves. I trade the underlying pressure and underlying price action behind the pattern. So once we've had this sort of a descending channel, for me right now, I'm looking to see if we can get an impulsive push. That's what I'm waiting for this London session. Then if you can get a pullback to take entries to the upside, that's what I'll be looking for on Euro JPY. Now I do not want to get an impulsive push that will go so close to this area over here, because we might get some potential resistance at this level. So that's also something to be wary of or to look out for. So that's actually what I'm looking for Euro JPY. Oh, Noveni, I'm from Kenya, bro. Glad to see that you are joining us from all the way from Namibia, man. Okay, so that's actually my analysis on Euro JPY, and it's very similar price action even on Audi JPY. So you can see with Audi JPY, we've also had a market that had been trending lower. We had this consolidation during the start of the Asian session, then prices started to push lower. Now the price action here is not that clear in terms of trying to see descending nature, but you can, with this sort of price action, it's clearly an indication that you don't have that much strong selling pressure to continue taking prices lower. But I will not be surprised if we continue pushing lower. If we can continue pushing lower, then we get some sort of a descending nature, a large ascending consolidation where price is just moving sideways in a range. I'll be looking to take longs, but generally have a long bias on Audi JPY and Euro JPY. Let's look at New Zealand JPY. With New Zealand JPY, we are seeing here, this is some sort of a flag, so price might continue pushing lower. This might be a flag continuation for this push to the downside. So we might get continuation of momentum to the downside. So it's also something that I'll be looking out for. But most likely, I'd be looking for a scenario like this on this particular pair. So if we continue pushing lower, then we get the descending nature. We get a reversal to the upside. Or if we push lower, and then we just get some sort of a, let me just use the line. If we push lower, and then we get some form of a accumulation, I'll be waiting to see if we can break outside of the accumulation to take longs. Now alternatively, because already seeing we've got this push and we have this sort of a flag some sort of a flag. If price continues pushing lower and it pushes lower very aggressively, then I'll be looking to take short entries. Now, this will need to be some really strong selling pressure coming out of this sort of correction. So with New Zealand JPY, generally looking for two probabilities. Now remember, with trading is all about probabilities, and so we have two probabilities that might happen here. Either we get a reversal to the upside, but in this instance with New Zealand JPY, I'd want to see price pushing lower first of all. I'm not looking for entries on New Zealand JPY in case price does decide to reverse right now and we get the strong selling pressure. If price push upwards right now with a lot of momentum, I'll not be looking to take continuation entries to the upside, mainly because of this potential area of resistance here, which is so close, and also with this sort of price action for me is not the sort of maybe range that I'm looking for. As I've said, this looks more like a flag continuation to also that price can continue to push lower, but we'll have to wait and see. So with New Zealand JPY, I'm actually looking for two probabilities on this. I can either take shorts depending on how we break outside of this sort of correction, and I can also look for longs once we break outside of this consolidation to that we continue pushing lower, but then it gets signs of exhaustion. I'll be looking to see if we can take reversal entries and take long entries. So on GJ we have almost very similar price action to what we had on Euro JPY. So with GJ, I'm looking for longs because you already had the push to the downside. You had a lot of wicks. Now, whenever you have such huge wicks, it's an indication that the trend might not last for long, and you can see this because once we got this very huge wick, we broke the low of this candle, but we broke and we got another candle with a very, very large wick. Retrace, we break again, we retrace, we break, we retrace. So this for me, as I can see from around 2 a.m., we could see signs that the selling pressure was not as strong as we would want to see in a trending market. So for now, with this particular pair, I'll be waiting to see if we can get a push to the upside, impulsive push, see if we can get a correction to take long entries before we can, and I'll be wary of this level over here. If we can get entries around this level, we still have quite a distance to get to this potential area of resistance. So with this particular pair, I'm looking for longs. And currently, I would say this is my high. Let me just have the areas I'm looking for so that you can be able to follow along in case price starts to push upwards. So right now, this is the high. Pivot high that I was looking for. This was the low. Now we've already broken this high, and that's why this is a pair that might actually present us with entries. Depends on, I'm waiting to see if we can get a strong candle close. If this candle closes bullish with a very strong candle close, then I'll be now looking for pullback entries. So this is a pair that I have to have on watch right now. Let me just have the highs and lows on Euro JPY so that you'll be able to follow along. Okay, buying any pair with yen. I only look for shorts, especially USD, JPY, because anytime Japanese government can intervene, so they're weakening. Yeah. So actually, yesterday or today in the morning, let me just look at the Forex Factory. You can see here. Now, Forex Factory is where I actually get to see the high impact news, because as I've said before, I do not like to place any trades or to hold trades whenever I have high impact news being released. So I normally come here and filter to only have the high impact news. So for today, we only have high impact news on the card. And so this is not something that is overly concerning to me. I don't even trade card pairs at the moment. So if you had high impact news on USD, I'll be wary about being in trades in and around that time. But true to just what you've said, you can see here with the news, we had this news coming out of Japan, with Japan Finmin Katayama indicating that the government might intervene and start to raise interest rates. So it is actually true to what we just said there in the comment. Let me just have my highs and lows. I've already indicated at the start of the session that I was looking for highs coming out of this sort of large descending nature, but at the moment I still don't have enough conviction in the bias. I do not have a candle that is strong enough to confirm for me that we actually might get a start of the trending market, but we are pushing higher, so we'll have to wait for the confirmation candle, for the strong bullish candle to confirm momentum. With actually all these yen pairs, I'm actually waiting for confirmation of momentum. I'm waiting for confirmation of bullish momentum. So because right now I don't see the strong imbalance. Remember, I'm looking for imbalances in buying and selling pressure. So whenever we have more buyers in the market, we'll be able to see this with just the candlesticks. You can see here, yes, prices are pushing higher, but not with that with a lot of strength in the candles. So we don't have that imbalance yet. Normally I'd like to see like two strong candles, so in case I'm looking for an uptrend and I'm waiting to see, once we break the high, I'm looking for strong candles. Now you can see here we've broken the high, but not with a lot of conviction from the buyers, so we still have to wait for confirmation of momentum. And I think this will also apply. Now with New Zealand JPY, I already said I'm not looking for longs immediately. I'll wait first of all to see if we can continue pushing lower, take out this low, then get some sort of an exhaustion in the selling pressure to see if I can take longs. Now today is just a game of patience. Now I've already said that today I'm only looking at the yen pairs. Now with the USD pairs, when I looked at the market, now normally I'll start with the DXY, which is the dollar index. Whenever I see this sort of price action on the DXY, had this push and we got this reaction. So we have this potential area of resistance at the top here, and you also have area of support at the bottom. So I don't want to get involved in trades whenever today, as long as the DXY is within this high and within this low. So that rules out entries on most of the euro in the dollar denominated pairs, and even on the commodities I could not see the setups for the London session. At least I think they still need a little bit more development. They're just moving sideways. it's very messy price action. You can see this whenever you get this push to the downside and you get an immediate recovery by buyers, you get this some sort of a V-shaped recovery, and then we continue that sort of a V-shaped recovery again. So we get a push, you get a recovery, get a push. This just leads to more of a range bound market, so still needs a lot of time to develop. Now I might be interested in the DAX because we are now starting to push out. The DAX was just moving sideways throughout the Asian session, sort of sideways, because we had this high and this low, and price just played around these two areas. So right now, since we are breaking outside of this sort of a consolidation for a range, which actually extended even to the New York session of the previous day, I'm now looking. This is now a pair that we actually have to be on the lookout for this next few minutes. So we've already had the initial push, and we've got this sort of confirmation candle. So it's now, I'm now waiting for the pullback, see if we can take prices long entries. So for today's London session, I think let me just complete looking at these other pairs. So for the London session for today, I'll be looking at DAX. In fact, DAX might actually provide a setup any moment from now. I'll be looking at and also be looking at the yen pairs. So with GJ, I still have to move my high again, because now this is my high, this is my low. Now, because we did not get the confirmation and I've already moved my high, now this is the area pivot high that I'm looking at. Now, for now, I have to now wait again to see if we can get strong break outside of this high. I'm looking for two impulsive candles breaking out of this high before I can start to look for entries on the pullback. With Euro JPY, there's no need to move my high. My pivot high is still here. So I'm still waiting for another impulsive candle. We've not gotten the impulsive candle I'm waiting for to confirm momentum, so still waiting on a impulsive candle close, an impulsive bullish candle close before I can start looking for entries on the pullback. But for now, my focus will be on the DAX, because with the DAX we already have the confirmation of momentum. It's all about getting the pullback right now. So we still got continuation of momentum. Now we have not started getting the pullback, because this candle, although it's bearish right now, it is still continuation of this impulsive push to the upside, because you can see that this candle broke the high of this candle, so it is continuation of momentum. And I'm actually waiting to see if we can get a pullback to see if I can get entries. Now this sort of very strong bearish candle in this push is in this impulsive push to the upside is not ideal. So let's wait and see how it's going to close. It's good that that sell-off sort of reduced. So we're still on for long entries, waiting for the pullback. I have to be patient for the setup, because just because price is pushing upwards does not mean that I take an entry. I have to actually wait for price to give me my entry trigger. I think I'll have to have a split screen just so that I'm able to monitor what's happening on the yen pairs. So with DAX, we are still pushing higher. Also with New Zealand JPY, oh no, a Euro JPY. This split screen is not that good of an idea. And see, buyers are still pushing prices higher now. This is still continuation of the push to the upside, the impulsive push. So we have not yet gotten the pullback where I can get to place a long entry, but you can see now. I wouldn't prefer to see these last two candles having large wicks in them. I'd prefer this to be a strong candle close, a strong bullish candle close. Sorry about that. hopefully today we can get a win on the stream. So price is still pushing higher, have a lot of strength in the bias. Yeah, so if you can get a pullback entry on this particular pair after this candle, if this candle closes as bullish as it is, and then we get the pullback, that will be ideal. That will be a high probability entry. Now for me to get the entry set up from this point, it will need maybe like 4 candles, so that will be maybe 20 minutes. So we still have some time before we can get our entry trigger in case price gives us the opportunity to get the entry. So this is the high right now. This is the low. I'm waiting for a pullback to take long entries. I also have Euro JPY and Pound JPY on close watch. That is a good candle close, so we are still on for long entries if you can get a pullback. Now there are 2 types of entries that I usually take: the flag continuation and the retest continuation. Now I might take the retest continuation on this pair, but what I've actually really properly tested on the DAX is the flag continuation. So I'll see if the retest continuation will be an option, if I'll have to take the retest, but ideally I'd like to take the flag continuation on this particular pair. So for the counter trend, first of all, have to wait for this candle has to close below this high of this candle for it to be a counter trend candle, and then for it will be the start of the counter trend move. So basically, if we get this candle closing below this high, now it will be the start of the counter trend, where I'll be looking now to get my entry trigger. So let's wait and see if I'm going to be presented with an entry today. Just have a quick glance at Euro JPY. Not yet. We've not yet gotten the confirmation candle, so we might not get the entries on Euro JPY. Pound JPY. This now actually moves to green. It's not that urgent. So my focus right now will just be on the DAX. As I always say, I like to look for impulses coming out of a consolidation, because I am more of a trend following trader, and I like to for imbalances in buying and selling pressure. So whenever we have, normally 90% of the time, or even more than 90% of the time, the markets are in a state of equilibrium. And whenever we have a state of equilibrium, it just means we have an equal amount of buyers and sellers in the market. So in that instance, you get a situation where price is just moving sideways. So price might get to a certain high, reverse, get to a certain low, push back to the high. So it's just moving sideways in a zigzag manner. So that's why I've boxed out this area. So whenever we break outside of the high of that range or the low of that range impulsively, we normally have an imbalance, and those are the ideal scenarios I look for when I'm looking to take trend entries, trend continuation entries. So in this instance, we broke outside of this sort of a consolidation area, or this range, the upside with a lot of buying pressure. So this is ideal for me to start to look for trend continuation plays. How's your trading week been? So this week has been a little bit challenging on my end. I've taken 3 losses this week, but all of them are high probability setups, so it's just part and parcel of the process. So we are starting to push higher, and we've broken the high of this previous candle. So this is no longer a counter trend candle. It is continuation of momentum to the upside. So I'll probably have to move my high to the high of this candle. Let's wait for it to close and wait for the counter trend move. You can just see the strength in the buyers in this push to the upside, taking us completely outside of the consolidation area. So this is the high right now. Now, if this candle closes below the high of this candle, as I've said before, this will be the start of our counter trend move. But let's wait and see how it is going to close. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat. Now, if you're just joining the live stream for the first time, I'll be doing the London session open live streams so that I can give you guys my forecast for the London session live stream. And some of the time I'll also be able to take trades during the actual live stream, because I plan on doing the live streams maybe for the first 2 hours of the London session, which will be enough to go over the different pairs that I do trade, give you my forecast on these particular pairs, and also get to trade the first 2 hours, sometimes even 3 hours. So if you're joining for the first time, welcome to the live streams, and you can remember to subscribe so that you won't miss out on these live streams as I post them. Now, this actually is continuation of momentum to the upside, but we're now getting a lot of, starting to get a sell-off. Now, I do not want this candle to be too big, this sell-off. If this candle continues with this selling momentum and it closes below, like we're seeing right now, if it closes below this candle with this sort of strength, then this will be an engulfing candle, which is not ideal at all. retrace almost all the way up to this level over here. This sort of an engulfing candle at the top of a push to the upside is a warning sign that we might not get a market that is going to trend in to the contrary. We might get a reversal, so we have to wait and see how this candle is going to close. But so far, from what I'm seeing, this is not ideal at all for me to take continuation entries. Nah, that sell-off on that one candle, oh my. You can see this one candle has already taken out the distance covered by these last two candles, so this is not ideal at all for trend continuation plays. But I'm still going to wait and see how it's going to close. If this candle closes with this strong momentum, in fact, I think probably I'm going to stop looking at this pair for the London session, because I was waiting to see if we could get pullback entries to take continuation entries to the upside, but you can see this strong sell-off with one candle almost taking out 50% of the push to the upside. So for me right now, this is not actually a pair I'm going to be looking at anymore. So let me just look at the Euro JPY, which was also on watch, and also I still have on watch the yen pairs. I'm waiting to see how they're going to develop. Now with this Euro JPY, we've now gotten the counter trend move on this push to the upside, which was not impulsive. I was waiting for an impulsive push, an impulsive candle to confirm momentum, but we did not get an impulsive push because you can see the strength in these candles. There isn't a lot of strength, they're just very small candles, and I'd like to look for an imbalance in the buying and selling pressure. So if we had a very strong push to the upside with strong candles, then that for me would have been an indication that price might continue to push higher. But for now, we have to wait now, see if we're going to break this high impulsively. But I'm also wary of this high over here, so for this London session, we might be just all about being patient. I might not get an entry during this London session, seeing how price is developing. As I said on the New Zealand JPY at the start of the stream, for me, when this sort of price action was more of a flag continuation on this push to the downside, so that price might continue to push lower. So I'm still waiting to see if we can continue pushing lower, and then I'll look for signs of exhaustion before I can look for longs. But also it depends how we are going to push lower. If we push lower with so much strength in the selling pressure, I'll definitely be looking to see if I can get involved with some shorts. With pound JPY, I was also looking for longs. So at this point in time, this is the high. I won't be looking for shorts until we can maybe break this low. So for now, I want to see how we are going to break this high of this candle. Are we going to break it impulsively with strong bullish candle so that I can take a pullback to the upside? But I'm also aware of this potential area of resistance. So let's wait and see how it's going to develop. Price is going to develop. But for today, it seems like a day where the market is just going to range for a while. We might get the entries during the New York session maybe. So here you're looking for sells. I'm actually looking for longs on the yen pairs. Most of the yen pairs I was looking for longs. Yeah, I was looking for longs on the yen pairs. But the only pair that I was seeing possibilities of taking shorts was New Zealand JPY. But first of all, we'd have to break this low before I can consider taking shorts, and we have to break it with a lot of conviction. So I still need to see a lot of selling pressure breaking this low before I can look for shorts. But generally I was looking for longs on the yen pairs, and I was also looking for longs on the DAX, but that is not viable anymore. So with the yen pairs, let's wait and see if price can develop a little bit more before we can get our opportunities to take longs. Now, in case we continue pushing just sideways, we might break outside of this sort of now will be now of a consolidation. If we break outside of this consolidation to the downside impulsively, first of all, I'll have to wait to see if we can break this low before we can take shorts. But generally today looks like a corrective day for most pairs. But this might change because markets are really dynamic. So you just have to be on so that if the move happens, you don't miss out. So I'm looking for longs on the yen pairs, just to be clear. Like my bias most likely is for longs, but in case the market shows me something different, then definitely I'll be looking to see if I can get involved with shorts. But as I've said, we have quite a distance to cover before we can start looking for, before I can change my bias to start looking for sells. If you have any questions, guys, leave them in the chat. And I'd also like to know where you're joining me from, if you don't mind. And how has your trading week been so far? Have you had a green trading week, red, or just break even? So far I've had a red trading week. Hopefully today we can get setups to at least close the week a high, but it's still fine if I don't get any trades today. It's not every week that I get a profitable week, which I'm sure if you've been trading for quite a while, you know. It's not every week that is profitable. It's not every week that is profitable. So for those joining the stream, I was looking for longs on the DAX when you had this push to the upside, but this candle, as I said, once we got this strong selling candle, I stopped looking for longs, and you can see the following candle is also very bearish. So this is now, these two candles have taken out all the gains made by the buyers. So whenever I get this sort of price action, this is just a market that is going to range for a while. So I'm no longer looking for trades on the DAX. My focus right now is on the yen pairs. I was looking for longs on the yen at the start of the London session with this push to the upside, but we did not get strong momentum that I was looking for. So you still have to be patient to see how we are going to get out of this sort of a market that's now looking like a range, because initially this was sort of a descending nature. But if we continue with the sort of price action that I'm seeing, because we pushed touch these highs and retrace. If we continue playing around this area, then this is probably going to look like right now it looks more like a range. So we'll have to wait and see how price is going to break outside of the range, either to the upside or to the downside now. But the downside still have quite a distance to cover before it can break the low. With New Zealand JPY, I've already talked about it, and even OD JPY. Euro USD, you can see we had this push coming outside of the descending nature, but it was not that strong. It did not have a lot of strength in these candles. There isn't really any difference between these candles and the candles in this channel, so there's no imbalance for me to start looking for longs. So right now we are getting the pullback, and we might continue to push higher, but I'm not getting involved at this moment. I'll still wait to see how we can break this high. We're going to break out impulsively, then I can look for pullback entries to take prices higher. Let me just label this. So we have to be patient for today. We did not get the entry at the start of the London session because we did not get the strong bullish push, as I've said. So we have to be patient and wait for the strong buying pressure to kick in maybe later on during the day. Now, if you have any questions, kindly leave them in the chat. We can engage on that point. As I've said, today we don't have any high impact news coming out, so that is really ideal. Whenever I'm trading, I don't like to have high impact news coming out because I don't like to get involved in trades in and around high impact news being released. So the fact that we do not have any high impact news is really ideal. Now, in this instance, in fact, if I was to take a trade, I would have taken a trade with the close of this candle because this was the flag setup, but because we did not get strong momentum coming out of this descending nature, I don't know, I did not take this entry at this level over here. Some people might take this trade, but for me, there was no indication that we had enough buying pressure for prices to continue pushing higher after the pullback. Normally say that trading is often quite boring because you just have to wait for price to come to your area, to your entry in case you have a limit order. Have to wait for this confirmation. Like in this instance, you can see we don't have the confirmation. Price is pushing higher, but we did not get the confirmation, and now we just have to sit and wait for price to give me exactly what I'm looking for instead of rushing into the trade. As I've said, in another instance, I might have rushed and gotten into this trade just to force the trade, because I had a long bias at the start of the session, but nowadays I'm a little bit more calmer. I think if you are starting out on reading price action, it will be very easy for you to take this trade. And in fact, this trade might actually continue to push higher, but for me, it was not, I did not get the strong candles that I was looking for, so I've stayed out of the trade. We are now into the second hour of the live stream. I normally say that if I wasn't doing the live stream, then I will not be sitting and staring at the chart, because I already know my forecast for the setups that I'm looking for. And sometimes the setups take some time to play out, like in this instance, because we still have to get the break this high, and then we have to break it with at least like 2 strong candles, and then we have to wait for the pullback. That will be another 4 candles. So for a setup to present itself, it's going to take like 25 to 30 minutes. So I can just check on the charts after every 25 minutes, which is ideal. You don't want to be sitting at the computer screen staring at the charts the entire day. That's quite stressful. Now, if I had taken a trade at this level with this candle, this would have been my stop. I've had a stop of about 7.5, and I will be just about to get tagged out. So you can see this will have been probably a loss. Yeah, I would have been tagged out for a loss of this. So you can see it's always important to wait for the confirmation of momentum with strong bullish candles, in case you are looking for longs before you take entry, because if you rush into the trade just because price has pushed higher, you end up taking such losses. So I can say that I did avoid taking a loss by just focusing and following my plan. Now today I want to see if I can do also the New York session today. So from what I'm seeing the forecast that I had on New Zealand JPY playing out more than all the other forecasts that I did have on the start of the session. So let's wait and see. You can see we have very strong selling pressure. Now, as I said, with GJ, let's wait and see how we are going to break outside of this consolidation. If we break outside of this consolidation with a lot of selling pressure, I'll look to see if I can get a pullback entry to take prices lower. But at the start of the session, I was waiting to see if we could get long. So, but right now, I have two probabilities because we are now gotten into some sort of a consolidation area. And whenever I get this sort of a range, I normally look for impulsive push to the upside or to the downside. Ideally, I like to, in case in this instance when I've had a market that has been trending low for a while and we get this consolidation, the most ideal scenario is to look for longs because it will align well with the market cycles based on the Wyckoff principle. So, but either way, if we break to the downside impulsively, it also presents an opportunity for me to take shots. But today is one of those days where I just need to be really, really patient. Let me just have a quick look at what's happening on the dollar denominated pairs because I didn't see anything presenting itself today, which is still the case. So for now, it's all about being patient and waiting for the yen pairs to see if we can get opportunities to take trades. Now, on the indices and commodities, let me just take another quick look, see if there's been any recent developments, because at the start of the stream, I was not looking for any entries. The only possible entry was on DAX, and you can see here, I was looking for longs, but once we had this bearish candle close, it invalidated longs because I expected price to continue pushing lower, which it has. That is just going to lead to a market that is going to range. The JP225, let's wait and see, because we had this strong sell, strong candle breaking this low. Now we need another impulsive bearish candle close before I can consider taking shots on, looking for shots on JP225. It wasn't a pair I was looking at the start of the stream because we did this sort of a scenario which was messy price action. Price is just moving in a zigzag manner. So because we are breaking outside of this area, I will be interested maybe in looking for, let me just show you. Because we are breaking outside of this sort of a consolidation area with this strong candle, I have to wait and see if we can get a confirmation candle. It's always important to wait and get a confirmation candle. So if this candle closes bearish with strong momentum like this, or even half of this candle, then I'll be looking to see if I can take short entries to the downside. But for now, it's all about being a little bit patient. But I'll just mark this out as something that, as a pair, I have to have a watch on, see if we can get any confirmation candle to take prices lower. What pairs do you guys have on watch for today, by the way? For me, it seems like it's really a corrective day or a corrective London session. Things might change during the New York session. Have a quick look on this DAX because I want to see how this candle is going to close. But even if this candle closes like this, I'll still wait and see how the other candle is going to close, because this is not a counter trend candle. We have a similar low to this previous candle, so in case we get another strong bearish candle, the shorts might still be on. But let's wait and see. I'll wait for this candle to close and the next candle. The thing is, trading different pairs, you have to like sometimes switch from one chart to another. But as you can see, like I'll have all these pairs, but for today only had the yen pairs on watch and the DAX. So it's not like I'm constantly looking at every pair all the time. In fact, whenever I'm not like live streaming, I don't need to spend a lot of time on the charts. I already have my pairs that I have on watch, and that's why I even did the London session, just to show you the market forecast, what I'm looking for during the London session. I actually prepare myself. It's important to focus, but it's also good that you react to what the market is showing you. But when you start the session, you need to like analyze and have some sort of a bias, so that in case price plays out as you are anticipating, it's easier for you to take the trades, and you're better prepared to take the trades. As I've said, this looks like a day that is going to be, this session looks like a corrective set, where price is just going to be corrective for a while. I was looking for longs at the start of the session, but we did not get the the price action that I was anticipating on the yen, so we have to be a little bit more patient. But with GJ, I'm waiting for price to break outside of this sort of a consolidation area or this range, either to the upside or to the downside. Ideally, my preference will be to take longs. If it can break outside impulsively, I check longs. But also, if you break outside to the downside with a lot of selling pressure, I'll also be interested to see if I can get the setup for short entries or sell entries. Now with the yen, as Noveni said, like the Bank of Japan is having interventions in the market. You can see here from Forex Factory at around 5 hours ago. This was during the Asian session. The news coming from Japan was that there might be a gradual interest rate increase. So this normally affects the market price action. So whenever we expect interest rates on a particular pair, let's say the yen, that will probably lead to a stronger yen. So but I do not place trades based on fundamental analysis. These are just things that I do know off the back of my head. So a stronger yen will mean that we should be shorting the pound JPY or shorting the New Zealand JPY and Audi JPY. So I do get why Noveni said that he only shorts the yen pairs. So for today, with that news coming out of Japan, with the possible interest rate hikes, we might get to see some strength in the yen. Although at the start of the London session, as I was doing my analysis, I could see opportunities to take longs, but they have not materialized. So right now, let's wait and see if the price action is going to align with the fundamental analysis, with us expecting some sort of strength in the yen with the rate hike increases. So let's wait and see. What strategy, by the way, do you guys use to trade the markets? So far from the previous live streams, I'm getting a lot of people who trade ICT concepts, which is what I was actually expecting. I know most people trade ICT concepts, but I do trade a different way of looking at a different strategy based purely on price action. But sometimes I've seen some of my entries align with also some of the entries from guys who trade ICT concepts, but that might just be a coincidence. Today is actually really a game of just being patient. We might not get actually any trades during this London session, which will be just fine. I normally, like, in a week, I can have maybe 3 trades in a week. Sometimes, let's say 3 to 4 trades is a sweet spot. In that manner, I've not over traded and I've not also under traded, if that is a word. So this week I've already taken 3 trades, which ended up being losses, but I'm completely fine with that. All the trades were high probability setups, or at least 2 trades were high probability setups. The other trade was more of a valid trade, but I capped my loss on each trade to 1%. I don't know about how you guys performed in the markets this week. Anyway, for now we have to just wait and see how JPY is going to react. Now, I've been thinking about doing the Discord so that once we do the first 2 hours live stream, I can continue giving guys updates on the Discord community as price continues to play out throughout the day. And you can get to engage a lot more. There'll be also a lot of learning material in the Discord so that you can be able to follow along with my entries on the live stream, and some of you might also be able to take similar trades or take trades just on your own based on the price action principles or price action concepts that I use. So if that is something you'll be interested in, I'd also like to know actually how many people will be interested in such a Discord community. But for now, I'm also happy just doing the live streams. After a couple of live streams, I know that most of you will be able to follow along with my entries, and you'll also maybe like have an understanding of how I read price action. By now, if you've been watching all the live streams, you basically have an idea. But I'm also doing a couple of backtesting videos, which will be posted maybe on Sunday or next week, so that you can even be able to understand more about how I approach the markets and how I take my entries. Because I want people to be able to follow along and have an understanding of the price action concepts that I use, so that you can even have a lot more engagement in the live streams. You know, for some of your price action trading is fairly new to you. Some might come from a background of what do you call indicators, some from just trading patterns, and some of you just from ICT concepts or any other strategy that, or support and resistance strategies. But for me, I trade price action concepts, and hopefully with time you'll be able to follow along and understand a little bit more about price action trading. I know the backtesting videos will go a long way into helping bridge that gap. So that is something you'll be interested in. Also, be on the lookout for those videos when they will drop. In case you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe so that you won't miss out on those videos. For today, we just have to be patient. We might not even take any trades, but I do these live streams. When I started, I wanted to do the live streams when I only saw markets that look a little bit promising. But I think it's ideal to live stream regardless of the market conditions, so that those who are actually new or just trying to see how this trading works, even for those of you who have experience, you can see how my trading strategy actually plays out. I do not take trades every time in the market, and sometimes trading is just about being patient. You don't actually get to place trades all the time in the markets every day. As I've said, in a week, I might, even though I'm trading on the 5-minute chart, this now is my intraday trading strategy, and I'm trading on the 5-minute chart. On the intraday, I might get maybe 3 trades or 4 in a week. Some weeks I might even get maybe just 2 trades. So it really depends. It's not like I'm active all the time in the markets. Now, I do have 2 approaches to trading. I have the swing approach, which was my bread and butter, and it was the strategy that I was used to for a few years. This year is when I just started rolling out the intraday strategy. So with the 1 hour, I don't like to mix things up a lot because it might confuse you. For me, I'm able to trade both the intraday and the swing approach without any difficulties, because first of all, the concept is exactly the same. The strategy, the entries are the same. It's just the time frames that I use to analyze and to execute the trades that are different. But I was looking at it was New Zealand JPY. Let me just have a quick look on the 1 hour. This is the pair that is on watch for me on the 1 hour strategy, the swing strategy, because We had this push to the upside on the 1 hour. Now with the swing entry, it actually takes a lot of time before I get my entries and for the trades to play out. I might be in a trade for 3 or 4 days. So in this instance, we have now the sell-off on the 1 hour after a strong push to the upside for quite a while. But we had this at the top here, we had signs of exhaustion. You can see once we break this high, we retrace, we break again, we retrace. So in this scenario, I'm now looking to see if I can take shorts. If you can get flag continuation entry, but that will be another 2 hours from now. But this is the pair that I have on watch for the swing approach. I might also get a retest entry if we break this low impulsively. I'll be looking to see. So in case we get an impulsive candle close, I'll be looking to take a retest entry, that level, say a short entry with a high just slightly above that high over there, the high of this candle. So these are things I'm looking out for on the long term, on the swing approach. I'm looking for shorts on New Zealand JPY. On the other yen pairs, there were no other possible setups for me. It was only on the New Zealand JPY. But with that said, let me head back to the 5-minute chart, which is the 5-minute time frame, which is what I focus on for the live streams and the intraday strategy. Now that short entry on the short bias on the New Zealand JPY on the 1 hour really aligns with the fundamentals, with the possibility of the yen of the Bank of Japan raising interest rates, meaning we'll have a stronger yen. So it aligns with really well with the New Zealand JPY short bias that I have on the swing approach. But really today is more of a corrective price action on the intraday level. We might get a possibility, we might get the entries on the New Zealand JPY pair, but that will mean I'll also have to hold that trade over the weekend. So it's just a game of patience for today, waiting for the right setups, because at the moment we do not have any setup right now on the yen pairs that I was looking for. I was looking on, we did not get the confirm. I was waiting to see if we could get continuation of momentum breaking outside of this area. So I'm no longer looking at the Nikkei for now. Actually took a loss on the Nikkei, I think on Wednesday or on Tuesday. I covered that trade in the live stream. If you have any questions, kindly engage in the chat. still waiting to see, for those joining the live stream, looking for price to break outside of this consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside impulsively. I'm looking for impulsive push outside of the range, which is something that might happen during this London session, or we'll have to wait till the New York session for us to get possible entries. I currently have the yen pairs on watch. I do not have the dollar denominated pairs and the indices and commodities. I do not have any possible setups during this London session. Maybe during the New York session we'll have to reassess, but for now my focus is on the yen pairs, and that was my focus at the start of the live stream, the yen pairs and the DAX. But the DAX we got contradictory price action, so I've had to stop looking at the DAX for possible setups, and right now I'm just focusing on GJ mostly. We also have New Zealand JPY and Audi JPY, but for now the most ideal setup is on GJ, because you already have this sort of a consolidation at the bottom of a market that had been trending lower for quite a while. And I normally like to look for entries once you get a market that has been range bound market. I'm looking for an impulsive push to the upside or an impulsive push to the downside, as long as you get outside of the consolidation area. What was that quick drop? So you're starting to break outside of there. Oh, this is very weird price action on this candle. Has there been any news being released? Let me just confirm. This was 7 hours ago, so it can't be that. No, I've not had any news. I don't know what's causing this sort of price action, but let's wait and see how that candle is going to close. If you can close outside of this range, as I was saying, you get a very good strong bearish candle close. I'll be waiting to see if we can get another strong bearish candle close, taking prices lower, then I can look for pullback entries. If this candle closes with this large wick, this might be a classic test of these lows before we retrace, and this might be an indication that this is an accumulation after a downtrending market, and prices might push higher. It depends on how this candle, if this candle closes like this with this huge wick testing these lows, we might get a reversal in price to the upside. But I'll still be waiting until we break this high and we break impulsively before I can look for pullback entries. I'm not getting involved as long as price is inside of this range. waiting for this candle to close. The moment I don't even need these lines for illustration purposes. So the main thing right now is how we are going to break outside of this consolidation. If this candle closes with this large wick, I will not expect prices to continue pushing lower, but that does not mean that we are going to continue pushing lower. But if we get this close with this large wick and we start pushing higher, we might get a complete we're going to get a buyers taking control of the market from that point onwards, pushing prices higher. So let's just wait and see. Okay, now we've gotten the candle close with a very large wick, just testing areas below this, the low of this range. So normally my expectation will be for price to start to push upwards, but let's wait and see. If this candle continues to push lower and we break and we close below this candle over here, the very strong bearish candle close, if we can get a strong candle like this taking us lower, breaking this low, then that for me will be an indication that sellers are now in control of the market, and I'll start to look for short entries. But as I've said, with this large wick testing these lows, whenever you have a range like this and we get such a wick, for me this is an indication that price might start to push higher. But let's wait and see how this candle is going to close. Remember, I'm looking for two scenarios here. Either a push to the upside impulsively to look for pullback entries to take prices higher, or we break outside of this consolidation impulsively with strong selling pressure for me to look for shorts to take prices lower. But the ideal scenario now that you had this large wick will be for price to reverse and start pushing higher, because it will also align perfectly with the market cycles based on the Wyckoff principles, where we know normally get a downtrend, get an accumulation, then we get an uptrend followed by a distribution. So this will be an ideal scenario in which the Wyckoff principles would apply. And in case you're interested in understanding more about the Wyckoff principles and price action, then I do have a video, you can go and check it out on my page on price action concepts and the Wyckoff principle. Sound is very low. How about now? I thought the sound was just fine. Can you just confirm, is the sound fine right now? Is the sound okay? Or do you get too much of an echo? Testing. Testing. Is the sound fine right now? Now, I'm still waiting to see how this candle is going to close. Okay, we did not close below this candle, so at this point in time, if I'm to take shorts, I'll have to wait for price to break this low of this candle with two impulsive candle closes, which is what I'm starting to see. We're starting to approach this area. So let's wait and see how we are going to break. If you're going to get two consecutive strong bearish candles, that is strange. Okay, so now we are starting to break outside of the consolidation area. Now, we've already had this candle, but we have to wait and see how it's going to close. And then after this candle closes, I'll be looking to wait to see if I can get another strong bearish candle close. Now, so what I'm looking for right now is two bearish impulsive candles. So this is the first candle, it's not closed. So hopefully it can continue pushing lower, like I anticipated with this illustration. We push lower, we get a pullback, take an entry, sell, so that price can continue to push lower. But let's just give it a little bit of time. Okay, I hope the sound is now fine. Still waiting for more momentum on this candle. This is not a strong candle at the moment, but we still have a few minutes before we get the candle close. Then we'll wait for another candle. So first we wait for this candle to see how it's going to close. I like the way it's pushing lower and lower. Hello, Madleon. Hello, Madleon, by the way. So like the fact that we are still pushing lower, but we still have to wait for the candle to close. Now, shorts on GJ will really align with the fundamentals that I was talking about, with the Bank of Japan expected to raise interest rates, which will mean we'd have a stronger yen. So it will make sense to short the pound against the yen, but as I've said previously, I do not base my analysis on I do not place my trades based on fundamental analysis or news being released. I only focus on price action, because on price action you get to see how different players are reacting to different news, or just what different players in the market think about price. So it doesn't matter whether it's institutional investors or retail traders. You can see everything in the chart, in the charts. And sometimes when we look at the screens, we might get too fixated just on the candlesticks, support and resistance and such stuff. But it's important to always remind yourself that what you're seeing on the chart is it's an actual representation of what different buyers and sellers are doing in the market. So I prefer to place my trades based on price action analysis instead of just fundamental analysis. I use the fundamental analysis when I'm looking to see if there's any high impact news about to get released, so that I can avoid getting involved with trades. I don't like to get involved with trades in and around time when you're having high impact news being released. Now, either way, now we've gotten the break. This candle we've closed bearish. I was waiting to see how we're going to close below this candle. Now it's all about this next candle. I said I was looking for two strong candles breaking this low. So we've had the first, now we are looking for the second candle. Now they're not that strong, but this candle is not that strong, but at least we broke this low. So if this candle is strong, we get a really strong candle close, then I'll be looking for pullback entries, because it will be a confirmation for me that the sellers might be about to take control of the market and prices are going to push lower and lower. So it's all about this candle for now. It has to, first of all, break the low of this previous candle and close bearish. Not just bearish, but have a very strong bearish candle close, meaning it will be an impulsive candle. I'd like to see a candle like this. See how strong this candle is. If you can get that, this candle can close in a similar manner like this one. Oh, that will be really ideal to now start looking for shorts. I really hope the sound is fine right now. We're not getting the continuation of momentum to the downside, but we still have to wait for the candle to close. It's still early. So I can't, at the start of the session I had all the yen pairs that I trade on watch, but just because I have all the pairs on watch does not mean that in case we get a setup on all the pairs I'm going to take all of them. I also have to be wary of correlation. So in this instance, maybe I might have 4 pairs on watch on the yen, but eventually I might only take 1 trade or 2 trades at most, because I do not want to have too much exposure on one particular pair. That is just reasonable risk management. Isn't I thought the sound was quite fine at the start of the stream. Now this candle seems like it might close in a way that is not convincing at all for me to look for shorts, but there is still a possibility of waiting for the next candle. I'm still waiting for confirmation candle. It's always important to wait for the confirmation candle. For me, I need, before I can consider an impulsive push coming outside of consolidation or a range, I want to see two strong impulsive candles, at least two strong impulsive candles. If there are three, that is ideal, but at least two strong impulsive candles, then I can now start to look for pullback entries. And in this instance, we don't have those impulsive candles. We are just breaking and retracing, breaking, and then we are retracing. Although this candle is not is it a retrace? Let me just confirm. No, it's not a retrace. So there's still the possibility of getting the confirmation candle. So if this candle now that we have right now that just started, if we get a strong bearish candle close, then the shorts might be on, but let's wait and see. So we are now approaching the 2-hour mark for the live streams, or for this particular live stream. And I like to do the first 2 hours of the London session to give you guys the market focus for the entire session. So as we started, I told you, I give you guys a breakdown of what I was looking for. And we did not get the price action I was waiting for to take entries, but you have seen me just, you've seen how price has been playing out, and still, I'm still looking for opportunities even throughout the New York session. But as I said previously or earlier, this looked like a corrective London session, which is exactly what has happened. Market is just very corrective with not, we do not have a lot of conviction on either side of the market. The sellers or the buyers have not yet taken control of the market, creating an imbalance, which is what I like to see before I get involved with trades. And in this instance, it's just completely fine not taking trades. You don't have to force an entry and take unnecessary losses. If we do not get an impulsive push right now, we might have to wait a little bit longer. If this candle does not close bearish in a strong way, let me just have a quick look on what's happening on these other pairs. Remember, the stream started, I was looking for longs on the yen pairs, but we did not get continuation of momentum here. We've reversed, so I'm still looking for longs on ODJPY because when I look at this sort of price action, for me, this is very corrective price action. This area over here is very corrective price action. This is very corrective price action, an indication that we might get reversals to the upside. So I still have my long bias on ODJPY. On EuroJPY, I also have a long bias. Let me just adjust these highs and lows that I'm looking at. But for EuroJPY, we'll have to wait until we break this high, and we have quite a distance. So I think ODJPY is a little bit more ideal as we head into the last third hour of the London session. And GJ, I was looking to see if we could break outside of this area impulsively to take longs, but we've continued to push lower, although without a lot of conviction. So we might continue pushing lower and then get the signs of exhaustion before we can take reversals to the upside. But the most ideal setup for longs on the yen will be ODJPY. Now this does not align with the price action I'm seeing here, does not align with the fundamentals that I was talking about with the Bank of Japan wanting to raise the interest rates. But as I said, I trade price action. I do not trade the fundamental. I do not trade based on fundamental analysis or try to interpret what different news release is going to result in. So for me, I just focus on what I'm seeing on the charts. And right now, what I'm seeing is we have some sort of descending nature here. If you draw a trend line at the bottom here, you can see you're going to touch different areas. And if you draw a trend line at the top, you also get to sort of touch different points. So this is a descending nature. And whenever I get this sort of a descending nature, now in case you can't see it clearly, as I always say, you can go to the line chart. So you can see this sort of a zigzag price action while price is pushing lower. That's what I usually refer to as a descending nature. And this is usually a sign that we might get a reversal in price to the upside. So right now, we've just broken this high that I was looking at. So this was the high. This is the low. Now, what I like to see right now in this pair for me to take longs, I like to see a very strong push to the upside. Then we get the pullback, and I'll be looking to take longs. This will be the highest probability setup on this particular pair right now. And so in this push to the upside, what am I looking for? I'm looking for two impulsive candles. And after the two impulsive candles, I'm waiting for the pullback. So these are the two things that I'm waiting for to take an entry. So right now we've gotten the first break outside of this high. This is my pivot high that I'm looking at. Now this candle, we still have a long way before it closes, but ideally what I like to see is strong bullish candles breaking outside of this high. So that is something we want to wait and see if we're going to get. ODJPY will now be the focus for the next 1 hour. But if we also get price action on the other yen pairs, as I said at the start of the stream, I was looking for longs on yen pairs. We did not get them during the first 2 hours, but let's wait and see if we can get opportunities during the next hour. the next hour or so. So right now we've hit 2 hours on the live stream, which was my target for the live streaming session, because it gives me an opportunity to break down the markets effectively for the first 2 hours. And I can also give you a forecast of what I'll be looking at. Now, as I've said, I'm interested in doing the Discord community so that we can be continuing to engage even after the live stream, and whenever I take trades, I'll be putting them in the Discord community. So in between the New York session, the London Open session live stream and the New York Open session live stream, we'll be able to continue interacting in the Discord, and there'll be also a lot of learning material within the Discord community so that you can be able to understand price action concepts, and we'll be able to actually place the same trades, and you can even go and trade on your own. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to, and it is also going to help make the live streams a little bit more engaging. So if it is something you're interested in, let me know in the comments or in the chat, and whenever the Discord community is ready, I will let you know. So for the next few hours, as we head into the New York session, I currently have Audi JPY on watch. I'm looking to see if we can come outside of this descending nature, which really came after this push to the downside. We got this descending nature. I broke this down at the start of the live stream. Now that you have this descending nature, I want to see if we can get impulsive push to the upside. And as I've said, I'm looking for 2 impulsive candles and then to look for entries on the pullback. So this will be something to look out for within the next 2 to 3 hours. On Euro JPY, I'm also looking for longs, but we still have quite a distance to cover to get this high, because I will not be looking to get involved with the longs until we break this high. And when New Zealand JPY, we've gotten the price action that I was anticipating at the start of the live stream, because at the start of the live stream I could see we had this sort of a flag, which for me was looking like a flag continuation for this push. At this push, then we got this flag. So I wanted to see if we could continue pushing lower, break this low, and then get some sort of consolidation or a descending nature before we can get the reversals. So right now it's all about seeing, are we going to get some sort of a correction here, which is what I was anticipating. You can go and check the start of the live stream. You'll be able to see my analysis, my forecast. So I'm looking to see signs of exhaustion before we can take longs. So right now my bias on the yen pairs is longs on the 5-minute time frame. With GJ, I'm still waiting to see if we can get, for longs, I said we're waiting to see if we can break outside of this consolidation to the upside. I'll be looking to take longs, but also we've broken to the downside, but with not a lot of conviction. We're starting to go back inside the consolidation or the range. So if we continue pushing lower very aggressively, I might consider taking shorts. So for now, my main bias is still going to be longs on this yen pairs on the 5-minute time frame. but that might change. So we'll have to wait and see how price is going to develop. But the most ideal pair right now out of all the yen pairs is AUD-JPY. This is a particular pair that actually looks to present a picture perfect high probability setup. So we'll have to wait and see if we can get that setup within the next 1 hour or 2 hours. If not, it's completely fine. So with that quick forecast for the next few hours, I think that will be it for this particular live stream session, or the London session. Hopefully I can see if I can be back for the New York session, but I want to just be consistent by posting the London sessions consistently. So today's on Friday. If I don't come back for the New York session, I'll update you guys on what happened during Monday's session live stream. If we get continuation of momentum and I'm able to take trades, then I'll break it down either during the New York session or during the London session live stream on Monday. Either way, with that said, I hope you guys have an amazing trading day. I don't know how your trading week has been, but either way, whether it has been a red week or a green week, we continue to trade and to continue to fight another day. With that said, if there are no questions, then I'll see you guys in the next live stream session. Adios.